Denied that the current violence in the country may indeed degenerate into genocide there. Now, the country's ambassador to South Africa, Isaie Ntirizoshira, says Burundi is not at all at bursting point and certainly not close to a civil war. The government also says it does not need a peacekeeping force there as suggested by the African Union.
The security situation in Burundi is cause for concern, and institutions such as the United Nations, Secretariat of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region and the African Union have sounded warning bells of a serious threat to peace and security. In the 90s, the ethnic conflict between the Hutus and the Tutsis in Rwanda claimed over 300,000 lives. Burundi says genocide will never happen in the country.
If you consider the composition of the political institutions in Burundi, we have the government, which is composed of 40% of Tutsi, 60% of Hutu. National Assembly, 40% of Tutsi, 60% of Hutu. The Senate is composed of 50% of Tutsi, 50% of Hutu. The security forces are composed of 50% of Hutu, 50% of Tutsi, and at each level of commandment, when we have a chief commander which is from one ethnic group, his deputy is from the other ethnic group.
The AU's Peace and Security Council made the unprecedented decision to send troops to Burundi. Ambassador, but there are concerns that whilst you may be saying you are in control of the situation, the AU has suggested sending the peacekeeping force in Burundi, and the Burundi government seems to be rejecting this kind of efforts. Why?
Because there are so many false information which are spread by opposition leaders who, in fact, they know they don't have any support in the country and they cannot win elections through a democratic process. So these opposition leaders are spreading false news, false informations, and maybe people do not take enough time to verify the truth on the ground.
The African Union gave the Burundi government 96 hours to cooperate fully and accept the deployment of peacekeepers, warning that it reserved the right to enforce its decision to send in forces as per its charter. To what extent do you think the situation in Burundi has impacted on the economy of the country?
This insecurity has led to the decrease of the economic activities. It is true that this has impacted on the budget, on the resources of the country, but we hope that with this, let's say, ongoing dialogue in Burundi, and the dialogue which will be organized soon through the facilitation of the Ugandan authorities, this dialogue will pave the way to a lasting peace, and the economy will be able to recover very soon.
Condemnation of the country's legitimate institutions continues, and there are appeals for all stakeholders to exercise restraint and refrain from all acts of violence which could exacerbate the situation and bring the country to the brink of a catastrophe. Lehana Tsotetsi, SABC News, Pretoria.